Welcome back. David Hertel in for Elias. A group of people living underneath a highway in downtown need to find somewhere else to live before June 15th. After a Quebec judge authorized their eviction to allow for repairs to the roads, that's the Ville-Marie expressway, after several delays, despite one legal clinic representing these people asking for this date to be pushed to July 15th. Something which would cost the Ministry of Transportation apparently hundreds of thousands of dollars in added costs to the project. But despite these costs, many are still advocating for those who have no home to go to in less than a week. This has become really almost like a human rights issue and puts to light the government's response to the homeless crisis. To make some sense out of all this, always happy to be joined by Sam Wass, CEO and Executive Director at the Welcome Hall Mission, who joins me in studio. Thank you so much for coming in, Sam.
Hey, it's good to sit across from you, David.
So tell me the situation. So you have some breaking news on this whole saga, right?
Oh, yes, breaking news on CJAD. You heard it here first.
Go ahead.
I was just on a Zoom call, and the Clinique Juridique has deposited an appeal to that order that you just referred to. So that appeal is supposed to be heard in appeal court on Tuesday. And the outcome, I guess, will be determined at that time whether the appeal judges decide to sustain or overturn the order that was issued.
So this is a fascinating saga because, so this has been going on seemingly, it goes back at least to 2022, right? So you had about, 11 people that were left. 3 of them were placed. There were 8 remaining campers under the Ville-Marie. And originally, there was a judge that said, okay, I'll give a stay. And the argument was, well, there's a public policy issue here where the government has to find a place for these people. So there was a stay, but ultimately there was a decision earlier this week where they said, okay, no more delays. June 15th is the deadline. Now you're saying this will appeal. Now they're probably going to ask for a stay until the appeal is heard. Any idea on the chances of that? I mean, can you tell us if you feel, or the people at the Clinique Juridique feel confident about this?
I don't know how confident they feel, and I don't know that I would try to speculate on what's going to happen. But here's the thing, David, is that we need to reframe this issue. And for a long time, we've been framing it the same way we framed the whole concept of homelessness since the 1980s. And in 2023, we're really dealing with a completely different phenomena of complexity. And so if we start to look at this as a healthcare issue for vulnerable people, along with the human right to housing, because in Canada, we have that law. It does say on the books that everyone in Canada has a right to adequate, affordable, suitable housing. Well, we need to look at that, look at the challenge that's facing us with that kind of a lens, because when we do, it'll change the response. A lot of the responses collectively from the system have been the same responses that we've been living with since the 1960s and 70s and 80s and 90s, but we're not dealing with the same challenges. And so if we look at what do we do with the most vulnerable people in our society, we care for them. And that's what we should be doing. So now it's a question of what does that care look like? And currently one of the challenges with the people under the Ville-Marie and a number of others, because there's other little camps here and there all over the city right now, breaking out in every neighborhood. These are people with needs for which there are no obvious solutions. And so one of the things that I've been saying to our friends in government and our friends in the CIUS is we need to develop the solutions that will actually respond to the needs of these people. Because I think as a society, not only do we have an obligation to do it, but if we don't do it, it's actually going to cost us an awful lot more in the future.
What I'm concerned about is, in this case, we're talking about 8 individuals with, I would call, like, serious issues.
Yes.
Okay. I will say with all due respect, but these are not easy cases.
No, for sure. I mean, our psychiatrist that works with us went down underneath there and came back saying he'd never seen anything quite like this. And this is a guy who deals all day, every day with serious mental health issues.
So what I understand is that approaches have been made to these individuals.
Yes.
and offers have been made to these individuals to move them somewhere else. And what I understand is some, if not all of these 8 individuals have refused.
Well, I don't know if it's refused as much as it has been a case of the offer was not suitable or there wasn't something that adequately met the needs of the individual.
Okay.
And so this is one of the things that we have to come to grips with is, in the old days, I go back in the archives of Welcome Hall Mission, and the challenge of homelessness was inevitably a 45-year-old guy who drank too much. And so the answer was very simply, stop doing that and get a job. Well, that's not what we're dealing with any longer in the reality of our 2023 homelessness, precariousness situation.
We're talking about mental health.
That and a number of other compounding challenges because many of these people are using substances. Well, that's not necessarily criminal. It's just something that is concurrent with the experience of homelessness. When your life is not going the way you want it to, generally speaking, you're going to use some things to numb that pain, and that's something that happens. But a lot of these people also have mobility issues and other healthcare issues that actually need treatment. So that's why I keep saying, let's frame this as an urban healthcare issue. Let's find a way to care for these people appropriately. And some of that may mean that there's some hospitalization involved, but some of it is also to place them in a housing situation where they can be surrounded by wraparound services that will ensure that they can actually stay housed.
So what I'm concerned about, and we'll see with the appeal and if the Clinique Juridique gets the stay, and that means maybe a extra time to maybe find another solution. But June 15th is this coming Thursday.
Yep.
And if there's no stay pending appeal, that's it. That means forceful removal if the 8 persons don't agree to move on. You showed me some pictures where, one individual has, let's just say, a lot of physical baggage.
Truckloads.
A truckload.
Yeah.
Or truckloads,
yes,
as you're saying. How can that be handled? I mean, I'm just imagining, media, police, not necessarily having the training or the skills. I mean, I'm just wondering how this can be handled in any right way.
And I wish I had the perfect answer for you today, David. I really wish I did.
I'm just raising the issue. I'm not saying it's an easy answer.
The challenge has been that for a long time, this whole issue has been downloaded to community groups, many of whom are under-equipped, under-resourced. And it's going to take all of us coming together to come up with this solution. And so I have to tell you, there is some work going on in the background. Welcome Hall Mission and Old Brewery Mission are among 2 of the players that are working in the background to try to find, with our healthcare authorities, the right kinds of solutions for most of these individuals. And so we're going to continue doing that because we think it's our responsible thing to do. But it's not something we can do alone. So we need the assistance of a variety of other participants, a variety of other folks in the ecosystem, and we need the support of all Montrealers who will, instead of villainizing these people or thinking of them as society's rejects, we need to recognize that these are citizens like us who simply are vulnerable and need our care and need it in a way that we should be able to provide it here in Montreal in 2023.
Well, we'll definitely be following this with you and James Hughes throughout next week. But before I let you go, I think you have another special breaking news announcement.
Oh, breaking news announcement, yes. As you know, David, my in-laws live with us, and it is their 66th wedding anniversary today.
Wow.
And so to Louise and Paul, happy anniversary.
Yes, definitely. Happy anniversary, Louise and Paul. 66 years. Well, at least a high note to end our conversation. Thank you so much, Sam, for coming in.
You're very welcome.
CEO and Executive Director of the Welcome Hall Mission, Sam Watts.